good evening, my fellow Americans. It is election night in the United States. It is indeed Tuesday, November 8, 2022. This is the night we all have been waiting for. It's election night. As we made the announcement a couple weeks ago that tonight will be a night that we should pull out your popcorn. Again, you know, if it's Tuesday, if it's 8 p.m., it's the Robert Duverny Show. Well, tonight, my fellow Americans, it is indeed election night in America. This is the night that we've all been waiting for. There's been a lot of skeptics. There's been a lot of who said that the Senate will go either way. But this time, as you can see the color I'm wearing tonight, I don't have any dogs in the fight. So I'm going to pull my popcorn and, of course, enjoy the show. Again, it's still early in the election. It's going to be a great night. You're going to have to stay up late. Some of you may have to call to be off tomorrow morning. Again, tomorrow will be a day that those of you will be sleeping on your desk. Those of you who work behind the desk, you're going to be sleeping. If you're a doctor, be careful. Don't conduct any surgery tomorrow morning because you'll be staying up for late tonight. You may not be as sharp as usual. Well, my fellow Americans, logging. It is indeed 8 p.m. It's already 8:02. We have some numbers that are coming in the state of Florida. And we all along we knew that the GOP will hold that seat in the government, in the governor mansion. Mr. DeSantis looks like he's gonna go in again, retaining his seat. Again, this night is still early. It's election night. I'm hoping that you all have conducted your civic duty by exercising your voting power. Again, it's a great night in America, and this is a night where the American people speak. And we could not ask for a better election than this one tonight. And at the end of the day, we all win America. Let's hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is what we have. Samantha Flemings, you voted. Congratulations. That's my Maya Natasha Joseph from the great city of Hollywood. She voted. Kudos to you. Pastor Lernia Galland, thank you. You did vote. Again, America is better because you guys voted. Dr. Duverny also voted. Those of you who have not voted, I'm sure if you're on the West Coast, you still have some time. But if you're on the East Coast and the state like Florida, you run out of luck. But again, my fellow Americans, stay tuned. The Florida electoral right now is looking great for Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio will easily maintain his Senate seat. The former chief of police from Orlando, Florida, Val Demings, she fought a good battle. Unfortunately, she came up short. Based on the numbers that are coming in, I'm looking at Real Clear Politics. The numbers are not looking too good for former top in Orlando, Florida. Also, she's also part of the U.S. Congress. She was on the short list for President Biden to be a VP. Apparently, things aren't looking too good for her. Mr. Marco Rubio will maintain his Senate seat, and life goes on. With regards to the governor mentioned, Mr. DeSantis will keep his seat without a doubt. Mr. DeSantis has conducted a good campaign, and he's asserting himself as the next commander-in-chief. And there are a lot of talks in the Trump camp who see Mr. DeSantis as a threat to the former president. Again, they encourage him not to run for the White House because they want to clear the smoke for Donald Trump, my man. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I have breaking news for you. Donald Trump, DT said he will make a major announcement. I don't know if you can call it a major announcement because he already spilled the beans. Next Tuesday, which will be Dr. Casey Marcella's birthday. On Casey Marcella's birthday, Mr. Trump will be making a major announcement on November 15th. So stay tuned, pull your popcorn, and then pull your lazy chair, and then wait for the announcement. Because we have a lot to... Well, my lovely cousin, Rosalind Jean Lewis, from the great city of Hollywood. Thank you for logging in. You have made a great choice. I'm sure you voted this evening, or if you have voted earlier, that's awesome. We encourage you to vote, to participate. And then if you think this politician are not doing a good job, I encourage you tonight to go out there and collect some signatures and ultimately vote. All right, vote. I want you to vote. Vote until you see that chair yourself. All right. Now, what next we have? I'm sure call your friends, Call your family members. The show will be very brief tonight because we have a lot on the menu. I have Dr. Duverny here in the control room. She's making sure that you all are covered. You know what's going on here. And our job here at the Robert Duverny Show is to give you the up-to-date information as things are coming along. And I've not seen Dr. Azor tonight. She's probably praying for Bishop Warnock over in Georgia. Apparently, Mr. Warnock, it's still early in the game. She has, I'm sure Dr. Azor will be praying for him as well tonight. But Dr. Azor, it looks like Bishop Warnock most likely going to hold his seat. I don't think he's going to go to a runoff because based on what I'm looking right now, for the governor mentioned in Georgia, Stacey Abrams is looking very good. But then again, those are early voting that are counting. I don't want you to hold your hope too high. Those of you in the Democratic camp, and I'm going to touch the Republican as well. Those of you in the Democratic camp, this is only early voting that are counting right now. So you may see in some state that some Democrats are doing extremely well because Republicans tend to vote on the last day. They tend to vote on the day of. So what's coming in right now? Those are early voting that are counting. Democrats are doing extremely well. But the night is still young. I still think Georgia will go, the incumbent, Mr. Brian Kemp, will maintain his seat at the governor mansion. And Mrs. Stacey Abrams will have to go back and fight a good battle again. Stacey Bazile, my lovely goddaughter, she's in D.C. D.C. next to Biden. And of course, Mitch McConnell. All right, sounds good, DC. All right, well, stay tuned, Stacey. Thank you for logging in. And it's probably cold over there in DC. Well, we're still in the state of Florida. We're enjoying 75 degrees weather. And there's a chance that we might have a hurricane, but we're praying here. There's Hurricane Nicole that's making rounds here in the state of Florida. But we're not panicking. We stand firm. We believe that we're going to weather the storm and hopefully come back to work again tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, those of you who are working, I encourage you to call in. You may have to call in late because you're going to have to stay up late tonight. With regards to the great state of, I'm jumping all over the place. There's so much to cover here. The great state of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania looks like the governor mentioned will go to Mr. Josh Shapiro, who's a Democrat, and the Senate is still early. We cannot, but we know for certain that the governor mentioned will go to Ben Shapiro. Again, stay tuned, my fellow Americans. Stay tuned. Well, the latest I have here for you, as you know that the Senate is 50-50, although the Democrats, they have the edge because of the VP, Vice President, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, who tied the break, who break the tie, actually. But right now, all the Republican needs right now is to win one seat in the Senate. If everything stays as it is, and then they won one seat, and they'll be in control, they'll be in the majority. But there's already tension within the Senate side of the Republican, whereas Josh Hawley from Missouri said he would not vote for Mitch McConnell to be the leader. So that right there, you don't want that because if you have one guy out, so we're in trouble. So we have to see what's going to happen here, but they don't think Mr. Mitch McConnell was loyal to former President Donald Trump, so therefore he's going to pay the price for it. Well, this is the politics that we've come to accustom to in America. Well, just because we can be different in terms of our political views, and we're creating enemies. We don't want that, but we want our politicians to rise above the occasions, all right? Show morals, show courage, show toughness, show cojones, in the words of the great Cubans, all right? So here's what I have for you. The latest I'm sharing on District 22 in the state of Florida. District 22, we have Franco at 56.8. and Frances at 43.2. Looks like it's a Democrat holder. The Democrats will hold District 22 as we speak, okay? District 22 will remain with the Democrats, all right. All right, what else we have here? So this is what we have. There's a lot of things that are coming in right now, but we're gonna keep you abreast here All right. What else? What else we have here, my fellow Americans? All right. Again, we told you that Florida, Mr. DeSantis, who will be the next governor, he will remain in his seat until he runs for office for president in 2024. He's only going to be here for another 2 years. So those of you who live in Florida, those Floridians, enjoy your governor for the next 2 years because he'll be gone, because he'll be running for the White House. And then that doesn't sit too well with President Trump, former President Trump, should I say more. All right. So it's interesting to see. Let's see what's happening in the great state of Texas. Texas has not gone blue in many, many years, and ever since in the 70s. But right now, O'Rourke and of course the incumbent governor in Texas, they're really having a fun day. And we just have to stay in the fold here. Now, one thing I've noticed in the recent 2 weeks, just right before the election, the Democrats have become inflation deniers. And again, like I said, I have no dog in the fight. I'm going to tell you just like it is. The Democrats, they become inflation deniers, while the Republicans are election deniers. So they're both full of crap. They're both full of crap. I don't care who you voted for, they're both full of crap. All right. So again, I have no fight. This is to me that it's a movie, man. It's just movies we're playing here, but we're all making money here. Let's make some money on the American people, man. Let them fight each other. But then again, at the end of the day, we in the Senate, we're making money. How's that, people? All right. So again, I told you to go get your popcorn. It's gonna be a long night. It's going to be an evening for you to delve into. Again, a lot of results would not be in tonight. I can guarantee you that, because there's more to dissect. And again, most of the votes that are coming in right now, they are primarily coming from the early voting. The early votings are the one that are counting right now, but the one that we have so many people who voted on the day of, so that makes it all somewhat difficult for them to come up with a number that is more accurate. So that's the reason why the last time, in 2020, we had a lot of fight, internal fight, and also between the two parties. Some said we called the election too early, but it's the fact that there's what you call a trajectory. So we know where this may yield to. I mean, that's the reason why they conduct the polls. You get a sample poll. If on a poll of 100 folks, if you have at least 75% of 100 people who voted a certain ways, who have a certain point of view, so you could say, well, this is where they lean forward. All right, Mrs. Ermine Pierre, thank you for logging into the Robert Duverny Show. Again, you're watching the Robert Duverny Show live from the great city of Pembroke Pines. This is a night of election. I hope you cast your ballot. You have exercised your muscle vote today, and then those of you who did not have a chance to do that, I encourage you to take part in the election. Next time we're gonna have another election. Every 2 years we have election. Every 2 years. You know, whether it's Congress, whether it's president, every 2 years. I know president every 4 years, but every 2 years. Every 2 years there's election. There's 2 elections every 2 years. We're gonna have one in 2024. 2026, 2028. So every 2 years there's a major election, either at the congressional level or at the presidential level. So I encourage you to take part of this great system that we have in the United States, because and so many countries do not have what we have. Again, another side note I can share with you, just this week there's one of the Mr. Putin, as you know, Mr. Putin is the president of Russia. One of his chef, made famous chef, said that he somewhat infiltrated in the U.S. election. In other words, they hack our system, and then they pretty much send pamphlets or what have you, slogan so we can have that internal fight of mistrust in our government. And this is what the enemy is doing on the outside, because you know what they say, you know, once we cannot agree as a people, what happened is we turn ourselves up, and then the adversary is gaining ground. So I want America to be smarter than our foe, than our enemies out there. So the job is to create create somewhat of a tension between us, create some type of a division between whites and blacks, between Jews and Christians, between Jew and Islam. So we need you to think of these things as they go. I know. So as we pray tonight, let's remember what we have in mind. We have a fight. Let's keep it at front. We know our enemies, and we're going to let our enemies know, hey, we're not taking this. All right, very good. I'm glad you voted Miss Hermit Pierre. You Miss HP Hermit Pierre for HP Hewlett Packard. All right. Down the house of prayer. Sounds good, HP. Well, again, my fellow Americans. Again, it's already 8:16. I will not hold you any longer. I encourage you to stay tuned, and we're going to dissect into more. What I wanted to touch base with you is that let's stay focused on the issue. Let's not get distracted. And that's exactly what the enemy does. It gets us distracted, all right? So until next time, my fellow Americans, enjoy the evening. We'll circle back with you next Tuesday, the 15th, on the big announcement that Mr. Trump will be having. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Again, keep your popcorn, and then we look forward to seeing you here next Tuesday at the same time. Again, if it's Tuesday, if it's 8 p.m., it's Robert Duverny. Until next time, my fellow Americans, have a good evening. I have to go run in here and then make some calls and then look at the election, and so I can report back to you next week, Tuesday. Thank you. Have a lovely evening. Thank you, America.